The first engine we'll be talking about is Amtrak P42DC number 9. Number 9 was actually one of Amtrak's first P42DC locomotives. It wasn't actually the first, but it was around the first P42s to be delivered to Amtrak. The engine was actually in most of Amtrak's paint schemes through the years, and then, as of today, it was then painted into Amtrak's new logo. Here's an example of its kind of older horn. Here's an example of the other T5LA horn it has today. Then, after many years of good work, a horrible thing happened to Amtrak number 9. It was on a train, and it was going about 90 miles per hour. Then, suddenly, it hit a seating tractor that was crossing the tracks. The one who was in the tractor sadly died, and the engine is severely damaged. It's unknown what happened to the engine and where it is today. The next engine we're going to cover is Amtrak P42 number 47. 47 was also one of the first engines delivered to Amtrak along with number 9. This also was in most of Amtrak's paint schemes. Here's an example of its horn. Then it crashed after a flood began happening. A bridge collapsed, but thankfully the engine was rebuilt and put back into service. After many years of hard work, the engine was then made into another collision that made the locomotive scrapped. This video you're about to see is the last ever footage of Amtrak 47. And this actually only a few minutes before it crashed into a CSX train that was parked in a siding. And the switch was misaligned and blew its horn and went in emergency and crashed. The crash was horrible. The CSX engine it crashed into was also scrapped. As seen in the picture, it was really severely damaged. The engine behind the CSX engine number 36 has since been repaired, but it's unknown where it is today. Back to 47 has since been scrapped. Our next locomotive we're going to be talking about is Amtrak P42DC number 8. Like Amtrak number 9, number 8 was one of the first P42 locomotives delivered to Amtrak. And also like number 9, it was painted in almost every of Amtrak's paint schemes. Here's an example of its school horn. Also, like number 9, after many years of work, something horrible had happened to it that would change its life forever. What you are now seeing is the final footage of Amtrak number 8 approaching a road crossing in 2007. Also, the audio you just heard of the horn was also taken from this video. But what actually happened to number 8? Well, on November 30th, 2007, Amtrak number 8 slammed into the back of the freight train, with many people injured and severely injured. The crew members were also severely injured as well. This video was taken not too long before the crash in Chicago that took place on the south side of the city. Well, let's see the damages done to the engine after the video. As seen in the picture, the engine's nose is completely pushed in, the doors are literally ripped out, and it's, well, otherwise severely damaged. The windows are out, and, well, I could see how the crew members were severely injured in this crash. Well, the engine sat in Indiana for a couple of years, and it's unknown where the engine is, and like number 9, it has to be inspected. But as seen here, it looks like the engine might be scrapped, since it's even worse than number 9. But as of today, the most recent information was from 2011. That's still in Indiana Yard, and we don't know where it is today. Now going to the Northeastern Corridor, our next locomotive is going to be Amtrak AEM-7 locomotive, number 900. 900 was the first ever AEM-7 locomotive delivered to Amtrak. It was the AEM-7, just for a little information, was one of the most reliable locomotives on Amtrak's roster. Even though there isn't a complete video of Amtrak 900, here's a video of how the horn would have sounded. Then, after only a couple of years of good work, Amtrak 900 and 903, which we're going to cover as well, were struck in the Chase, Maryland train collision. The two engines were riding at over 125 miles per hour, and there were 3 Conrail engines that were on the wrong track, and 900 crashed into them. Here's a picture of the damages that were done to 900. You can see that the entire side was ripped apart, and 903 behind. After the crash, many people died and were severely injured. And after this, the engine was scrapped. Still in the Northeastern Corridor, our next AEM-7 locomotive that I mentioned was in 900 is AEM-7 number 903. That was in the same collision as 900. 903 was also one of the first it's actually the third AEM-7 locomotive to be delivered to Amtrak. It was a very reliable locomotive like 900, because as I said in the first one, that the AEM-7 was the most reliable locomotives on Amtrak's roster, but on electric service lines. Here's an example of the horn, even though we don't have another video like 900, and because they're my favorite engine, as I said in the first one, here's an actual video. Also like 900, 903, after only a few years of good work, 903 would be in a horrible accident. With 900 that I recently mentioned, the engine was riding at over 125 miles per hour. That's when 3 Conrail trains were on the wrong track, and 900 smashed into them. As seen in the photo of the damages of 903, you can see that almost the entire side, the cabs, or both the cabs, and the roof and the sides, the wheels, and, well, etc., were damaged. And, well, like 900, it was soon scrapped.